So I wanted to make a video about ISTPs. I don't really know any ISTPs very well, just to make that clear right from the onset. But anyway, we're gonna go for it anyway. Oh wow, okay. If I can getting my notes, that would help. So I have a few stories to share about ISTPs, I'm sorry. That'll kind of give them an idea of how they are before we actually go into all the functions. So I was at the mechanic with my mom, and there was an ISTP mechanic there. Big surprise. They can be very good at that sort of thing. And the car was making a noise, and so I recorded it with my phone. And so I told this guy that I recorded it with my phone, and that won me big points system because ISTPs are very much, about efficiency, and the fact that I had to send it to his email, and even then he still couldn't hear it. Didn't really do much. It's just the fact that I thought of recording it with my phone. I mean, I could hear the noise, but it was just a certain kind of noise, and if you didn't know exactly what you were listening for, you couldn't hear it. But anyway, the thing was that to begin with, he seemed like very cold because he was really in his TI mode, which is their very first function, introverted thinking. So they're extremely analytical, and it will feel cold, and then they'll bump suddenly into their FE, which is their fourth function. So when a function is in the fourth position, it's either very little or a whole lot. And so FE is your antennas to pick up on other people's feelings, and it also in values, and it also enables you to express your own feelings and values, through your face, through speaking, whatever. It'll show in your face, and you're also able to, just communicate it. And so, in 1 minute he was like really analytical and detached and stuff, and then the next minute he was like super FE. And I've had that happen before. I've had it happen a couple times with ISTPs, and you're just like, whoa, like, what did I do? Like, was I coming onto him? I didn't realize. My mom has an ISTP relative, which I'm about to tell a couple stories about, that she was very close to, had a relative. And so she's entirely used to it. She didn't notice anything. She didn't miss a beat. She just kept going. But yeah, that's definitely something about them, and it happens, I think, also with INTPs. So, well, going on to the next story, I have a relative that we don't live close by them. We did when I was younger, and we didn't see them very much then either. But I remember that I went over there one time, and he wanted to race. So yeah, the interesting thing about it is that according to socionics, the ISTPs and INFJs, which on socionics you have to change the last letter for introvert, so it would be the ISTJs and the INFPs. But anyway, we have a activity relationship. So. And it's funny because both of the ISTPs that I feel a connection to are people that I know through like salsa dancing, this activity, right? Most ISTPs are guys. I have been racking my brain trying to think of if I've ever had contact with an ISTP woman, because to be able to see what the difference is, and how is an ISTP woman. I've watched some videos and stuff. It would be interesting. I don't know. For some reason, I haven't been able to think of if I've been around any ISTP women or not. But anyhow, most of them are guys. So going on to so we saw this relative more recently. And he has a family and stuff now, and so he was studying me. So ISTPs are interested in studying people. It's not the same as when INFJ is studying, but they do have an eye for the third function, and he studied me for a whole day. And so, I could feel that he was eavesdropping on what I was saying. He's going to figure out, what I'm about. And he could hear me say a certain thing, and then I could feel it right then. He like locked onto that thing, and then he assumed that I was meaning a certain thing by it, but it was actually something else. And so like the next day, when I was playing with his daughter, like I started playing with his daughter again. The previous day I had been playing with his daughter, but he hadn't been there for that part already. And so when he saw that, then he realized that what I said, he had misunderstood it, and he was just like, look at me like this. Not literally, but I could feel underneath, it's just like. So anyway, yeah. They are wonderful thinkers, and so they think about many things. It's not like the beginning end of everything is people, like it is for INFJs, and they don't have that much cognitive motivation to study specifically only people, as INFJs do. Okay, talking about my mom's relative. Well, you have to know that ISTPs have NE for their 7th function. NE is extroverted intuition, so it enables you to fixate on, I kind of call it the noticing function, and it enables you to fixate on, visible things, traits, clusters, like patterns, that sort of thing, to notice. So this relative was at my grandparents' house, and he usually ate Wheaties every morning, apparently. So when he was visiting them, they didn't have Wheaties, so they offered him granola. He never had granola before, and like after a long, like they're waiting for him because they're gonna go leave someplace, and he still hasn't finished, and they're like, "What's up?" And it's like, "What is this granola?" Like it takes forever to chew and all this stuff. So like it takes them a while to like fixate on things and like notice things, I think. And another example is that there was this table, and it lowered, but it just lowered by you pressing on it. So he was eating, and my grandpa was like playing a joke on him. And so as they were talking and everything, my grandpa just kept pushing it down and down and down and down. And eventually it was like way down here. And all of a sudden he's like, what in the world is happening with this table? Because it's like there someplace, you know what I'm saying? But they just are not really able to consciously fixate on things like that. And we'll talk about the NE later. If I say any more, then I won't have anything left on my talking about the different functions. But anyway, there you have a little bit of an idea about how ISTPs are. So going into their functions, starting from the very first function, we have TI. They are TI DOMs. TI is a very analytical function, and they're like the INTPs, and those are the two TI DOMs. So TI is introverted thinking, and really you have like this whole system in your brain, and it's like this big puzzle, and you're always trying to solve it, and it's like a universal puzzle. So every piece that's in there has to fit with every other piece that's in there. If there's a new piece of information, it has to make sense with everything else that you've already put in there, because it's all kind of interconnected. They're very good thinkers. They're very they do all kinds of fancy stuff, very intricate stuff with their thinking. They're very powerful thinkers, very analytical. As I have said before in other videos, the INFJ and the ISFJ are actually the most original thinkers, because we have the most pure TI. We almost don't have TE in the background, which the ISTPs do. So when we're simple but solid in TI, we can't do all that fancy stuff, and we're not nearly as powerful thinkers as they are. But our original premise and our original assumption, because we almost don't have TE, and TE is your antenna, is a way to pick up on what other people are thinking. So we are a lot more likely to have an original assumption when we start about thinking about something. And also TE has to do with like doing things in a certain order, And so we almost don't have that. So like we can rearrange all the different steps and everything, which will give you different outcomes a lot of times. And we also we don't label things, so it'll just be like, oh well, this is like that, and it'll seem like something that's totally different, totally unrelated, but in our mind it's not. Like we don't have things all categorized like that. So like we have a lot more, we can start with a different assumption, and then once we start thinking about something, I think that we have a lot more flexibility. But it's I mean, we're nowhere near the kind of thinkers that they are, but what we do is solid, but we don't, they're really powerful and really incisive and really they can do all kinds of fancy curly cues and all this stuff and everything that we can never get into. What else do we have here? Okay, we're going into the SE. SE is their second function, so it's their extroverted sensing. Like the ISFP, they have that for their second function. They're both extremely coordinated because with the SE, which has to do with, you know, interacting with your environment, they are that's in a position where they have a lot of control over it. And then they both also have SI in the background. SI has to do with detail, which is introverted sensing in their sixth spot. So you see how it is, you know, whichever one you have in the top, the extroverted or introverted version of it, the corresponding introverted or extroverted version of it is going to be in the background, right? But it is my opinion that the ISTPs are actually even more coordinated than the ISFPs, in that they have that TI, and TI has to do with precision. So and the TE being in the background there too, they're very efficient. Gosh, the ISTPs, to see the way that they dance and everything, of course I can't appreciate the efficiency of a ISTP mechanic since I really don't know anything about that, but when you see the ISTPs dance, wow, it's extremely efficient. It's efficient, like they don't waste any energy anywhere. It's exactly, you know, there, and they always look so cool. And yeah, let's see here. So they favor SE, which is their second function. SE has to do with like being assertive, interacting with your environment, and appreciation of aesthetics, that sort of thing. And that to them seems cool. And then their SI, which is in the background, does not seem so cool to them. It's their sixth function. Your sixth function is your hidden strength. It's hidden from you. Everybody else can see it and appreciates it and loves it about you, but you don't really value it yourself. And of course, we're going to get into that when we get to the sixth function. But I'm just saying all that to say that, like, SI has to do with details, with memory, with tradition, details. Did I already say that? And so details including like being polite, for example. So just like with the ISFPs, you have to make sure that you show a certain amount of assertiveness with the ISTPs, because for one, if you're too polite, they're going to know that you're being fakey, because, you know, possibly your entire personality is based upon your sixth function. And I say personality as in your cognitive operating system is what we're discussing here, not personality as in who you are as an individual person. So we're just talking about how you process things. If you're too polite with an ISFP or an ISTP, you just kind of turn their stomach, because they don't really value that SI consciously. Now, the longer they live, the more I think they're going to be getting in tune with it, and of course you need to express your sixth function so you don't implode or explode, whatever it is your personality is likely to do. But anyway, let's see, going on to yeah, and I think that with changes also, they can do them pretty suddenly, because of that SI, because it's into the tradition. So I think it's kind of abrupt when they have changes. Probably also because of their NE, because without NE, that they almost don't have any extroverted intuition. They can't really see the potential in other people or themselves. So I think that all of a sudden, boom, you know, they're ready for something and they never saw it coming, maybe. Okay, so going on to NI, third function, they get really good at NI, and just like the INFJ and the I sub J have the most pure TI and it's simple but solid, this is how they are with their NI. They're simple but solid in it. This is introverted intuition, which is not a conscious function. This is the one that INFJs have as their first function. But again, it's kind of a dream-like function. It reconciles contrasts and opposites and everything like in a dream. Like when you have a dream, you have all these different like disparate kind of things all floating together, and somehow it makes sense, and your brain somehow makes sense of it. And this is kind of NI kind of thing, and you see under the surface to what's happening as it dreams in deals in symbolism, that sort of thing. So and it's a very kind of incisive feature also. So you put that together with their TI, they can be very incisive kind of vibe, a very incisive kind of vibe there. I'm kind of hard pressed to describe NI further because it's not conscious, but I just know that, you know, it's kind of a dreamlike kind of thing, and you know things and you don't know how it is that you know them. Your brain is working on it, and I've gotten to the point where I can feel that my brain is working on it, and I can feel how far it is into the process and stuff. Now, I'm not privy to seeing exactly what's going on or what my brain has concluded up until that point. I just can feel how far it is through the process, which is more than before, right? It's interesting. But anyway, another interesting thing is that a lot of people see intuition as a very unscientific kind of thing, you know. Actually, I was seeing a video the other day by a scientist, and she was saying that when she was examining something, she had a certain feeling, and that her other colleague that looked at this also had a certain feeling. And she said, well, you know, it was intuition, and it's there for a reason, so you have to pay attention to it, you know. But I mean, the thing is, generally speaking, people don't see intuition as scientific. But yet, here we have both of the TI DOMs with NI, introverted intuition, in pretty prominent positions. The INTP has it for their sixth function, which possibly the entire personality is based upon it, and then the ISTPs have it for the third function, which is nothing either. It's pretty strong there, and it being the most pure NI also. So I mean, you know, you have no problem in your mind understanding, okay, well, an INFJ or an INFP have a lot of NI, you know, kind of thing. But I mean, it's not an uncentered scientific thing, and of course feelings aren't either. It's just a different kind of system than thinking. Let's see here. I mean, people's thoughts can change just as quickly as their feelings can change. It's not any more enduring, actually. Let's see. So, getting on to FE, I already said about that your extroverted feeling, it's very little or a lot if it's in the fourth position there, like it is for them. I think it's, you know, I've thought about it, and it's just really, I think it's really cool how it's set up. It's pretty perfect because, like I said, the TI DOMs can seem kind of inhuman sometimes just because they're so analytical. But then when that FE comes out, boom, you know, it's really there, and there's no doubt in anybody's mind that it's there, and so it just kind of keeps them on an even keel with people, so they don't drift too far out of people land there. So people can realize that they are human, and remember to consider their feelings and all that sort of thing. I can imagine, I don't know, that it must be a little bit of a, possibly at times kind of a scary feature for function for the ISTPs, just because, boom, it's just like so big, you know, and they really value thoughts more, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's this huge big feeling thing there, you know what I'm saying? I know INTJ's sister. She has kind of a thing happening because she's got the FI in the 7th position, so it's really hard for her, you know, cognitively speaking, to get her feelings out, because that's not FI, I'm sorry, it's FE, it's in her 7th position. So, yeah, and being a thinker, that's kind of pretty difficult for her. Well, kind of in the same way that TE is for me. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh no, all these systems and everything, and the individual's totally lost it. You know. Anyway. So, what is this now? So that's FE, and then we go on to hold on a second, I'm a little distracted.